So we're now on to part 3 of our protein myth busting series. In part 1 we covered the fact that high protein diets are not inherently dangerous if you're a healthy individual, and in part 2 we covered the fact that protein powder is not inherently better than regular food. So in part 3 what we're talking about is how much protein you can have and how much protein you should have, and if there is a limit on how much protein you should have per day. So let's look at the myths and look at the truths and give you some of the facts. So one of the myths we covered earlier was that a high protein diet is not inherently dangerous, and actually a high protein diet is good for leading to more muscle growth and also supporting fat loss. Now this next myth probably is an extension of that theory that a high protein diet is good. The theory being that therefore if a high protein diet is good, then therefore surely the more and more protein I have, the better that is for me. So if I'm piling in spoon after spoonful of protein powder raw out of the packet, necking tons and tons of protein shakes, I'm eating chicken, I'm eating beef, I'm eating turkey by the truckload, then the muscles will come by the truckload too. To me, that is a complete bro science theory. Doesn't really sound like it's based on any particular logic, but let's find out if it's actually true. Does more protein lead to more muscle? Well, first off, high protein diets are good. We know that. That's for certain. So a high protein diet is good for building muscle, and it's probably essential for building muscle, and it's also good for supporting fat loss. But studies show that there is a limit on the amount of protein you can eat per day that's optimal in terms of your body using that protein and turn it into something it can use to help you build muscle and recover from your workouts. And you know, there is sort of debate about what that number is, but generally speaking, anywhere between 0.8 and 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is kind of considered to be, broadly speaking, the right range. And you can go up to sort of 1.2 grams per pound if you're in a calorie deficit and are keen to really sort of guarantee you don't lose any of that precious muscle. But know that anything above 0.8 or 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight isn't necessarily going to do you any harm, but it's not actually going to bring you much benefit, if any benefit at all. In fact, you're not really going to make any significantly amount more muscle growth by eating, say, 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight than you would be if you ate 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. It's not a linear path to more muscle growth the more protein you eat. That's just not true, and all the studies and the research show that to be the case. And from the point of view of actually eating your food and sort of balancing your macros, if you're having way above sort of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, that is going to be super expensive, because protein out of all of the macronutrients is probably going to be the highest cost. You know, fresh chicken, beef, turkey, fish, protein powders, all of that stuff is expensive. It's more expensive than rice and vegetables and things like that. So if you're packing in more and more protein, more than you actually need, more than your body can utilize, you're actually just burning through a lot of cash for no extra benefit whatsoever. And then just look at it in terms of your actual macro balance as well. If you've got 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, that gives you lots of calories to play with in terms of your carbs and fat. And that then opens up a whole host of other food options for you. You can incorporate the pasta, the bread, the rice, the ice cream if you want to, and lots of the foods that you enjoy to give you that balanced diet. And also you can go for lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, you can have avocado, bananas, all of these sorts of things. These food choices open up because you've got many more calories to play with that you can dissect into your carbs and your fat. If you've got this way high protein content, that's going to eat through a lot of the available calories that normally you'd want to apportion to carbohydrate and fat. So for a balanced diet and balanced food choices, it's not going to be beneficial. Also, the amount of carbohydrate you have really does have an impact on the quality of your workout. Personally, I have pretty crappy workouts when I'm on a low carb diet. So I generally like to keep those carbs high. And therefore, if I've got too much protein, more than I need, more than I ever need, more than my body will ever need, then I'm not able to have the amount of carbs that I need for an effective workout. So that could be the same for you. Some people do work out well on low carbohydrate diets, but it's not the case for the majority of people. Ultimately, it comes back to the fact that if you're weighted way over on your protein, your overall diet is not going to be balanced. There's benefits to having more fresh fruit, more fresh vegetables, and all of these other sources that aren't inherently protein sources. So balance is key across your macros. So in summary, there is a limit on the amount of protein your body can utilize to be effective on a daily basis. It's between 0.8 and 1.2 at the most grams per pound of body weight. But stick within that 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight and you won't go far wrong. Anything over that, you're actually spending money on an expensive food source that's not going to bring you any extra benefit. So stick within the range and focus on a more balanced approach to your diet for everything else. And while we're at it, we're going to throw in one extra myth bust as well. And that's that your body can only utilize and absorb a fixed amount of protein in one sitting. And the amount is usually sort of banded around is 25 to 30 grams. And this is not true. We'll keep this one short. Basically, you can eat more protein than 30 grams in one sitting. It just means that your body is going to take longer to process it. It's not actually going to be, as soon as you get above 30 grams, then that is going to be shut out the back door and then never going to be used again. It's not the case. There is a limit on how much protein your body can effectively utilize in a single day. But there isn't a limit on how much your body can utilize in a single sitting. Two myths, busted.